Let's play Gran Turismo, episode 12. So, you may remember in the previous episode, we notably completed Trial Mountain in arcade mode, and now of course we are officially going to move on to our third track in arcade mode, Grand Valley East. So, going on to the hard difficulty, and just because I want to keep it traditional, at least for the first 4 tracks, I'm essentially gonna head down, of course, with the available manufacturers that have all 3 classes. And well, for Grand Valley East, I am going to be using Mazdas. And of course, for the first race, I am essentially going to use the first of 2 cars that is exclusive to the arcade mode. The Mazda Roadster RS. And as far as I know, I do believe this is one of 2 cars in the arcade mode that is strictly exclusive to the arcade mode, and I do believe the other one, of course, is a 1967 second generation Chevrolet Corvette. I do believe, as far as I know, those are the only 2 cars in this game that are exclusive to the arcade mode. But anyways, let's go to race 1 at Grand Valley East. Hopefully we can be successful. But in the meantime, we will just have to wait and see. Switching to analog mode as I usually do. Also because I know very well that I don't want my reaction time to be slow. So the main reason on why I'm essentially using this Mazda MX-5 Roadster is notably because this is one of 2 cars that are exclusive to the arcade mode, as I mentioned before, because there is this, I do believe, with a 67 Chevy Corvette, both cars as of which I do believe are not available in simulation mode, and already the Civic is running wide, so he must have probably braked too late as soon as he got off the jump. And he probably didn't realise how close he was to the braking zone. As I, of course, am just slipping and sliding my way into first position, and hopefully I can now hold on to this position. As things at the moment are going well. And the reason why I say that is because I am up into the lead, and I'm on the gravel. Or at least I touched the gravel. As we have the other MX-5 Roadster with us, otherwise known as the Unos Roadster if you live in Europe, also known as the Miata if you live in America. As I constantly give those unlabeled pieces of information, but yeah, just so no one gets confused with the names of the models. So it's looking like I am officially going to win race 1 here at Grand Valley East. And it is victory for the Mazda Roadster RS from 1998. And the rest of the field was quite a fair bit back from where myself and the Civic were, and the other Roadster eventually finished in 5th. So, victory in race 1 for me. As I, of course, am going to use my usual initiatives and let's check through what cars we were up against. So for this race I was up against a 1993 Honda Civic SIR 2, a Mitsubishi Mirage ASTI RX, a Mazda Unos Roadster S-Type Special, I would assume. At least I think that's what the model is called, considering I can tell very well those are definitely BBS rims. But anyways, a 1990 Nissan Primera 2 litre, and also a Toyota AE86 Terreno GT Apex, otherwise known as the Tofu car, if you have watched Initial D. And there was me, in my Roadster RS, from 98. As I am officially going to save this replay, as I now know this is episode 12. And also because I know very well that essentially my memory card space is very small, at least in terms of replay data. But anyways, yeah. So 1 race down, 2 to go, and I of course am now going to use the FC. And what colour am I going to use it in? Well, I'm going to use it in white. Why? Because I said so. Also because Initial D. And also the white comet of Akagi, essentially. Also known as Ryosuke Takahashi, if you have seen every official installment of Initial D, excluding the battle stages. Switching to analog mode. And it is now time for race 2 here at Gran Valley East. And I am already off to a tremendous start, as I already take the lead even before the first hairpin, surprisingly. So I'm assuming the AI must have probably been napping a bit, essentially. As I now head over the jump. And already I am losing ground to the Supra. And I'm on the grass. So, hard as it might be, I am clearly not paying attention to the track conditions. So, at the end of the first of 2 laps, I am currently leading, but the Supra is clearly chewing up and spitting out my rubber. He is essentially winding me in like bubblegum. And the reason for that, well, is because rubber banding. It's a nice little feature to have for these AI, because they are keeping relatively close to me. Essentially in my white comet of Akagi, I am officially leading this race, and looking like I'm going to win this on my first attempt. And it is victory number 2 on my first attempt here at Gran Valley East. And the entire field, surprisingly for this race, finished in single file formation, as I just noticed. and definitely closer than they were in the C-Class race. Because essentially, the gap from first to last in the C-Class race was about just less than 3.8 seconds. Now this one, just under 2.5 I think. But anyways, let's check through the grid. So the cars we were up against were a Toyota Supra SZR from 1995, a 91 Honda Prelude SI VTEC, a Subaru Alcyon version L, a 1988 Nissan Silvia S13 Haze, and a 95 Mitsubishi GTO SR. And then there was me in my white FC FNE3. And I'm just going to check to see if I've already saved the replay. And yes, I have. So now, of course, we are going to move on to our third and final race here in arcade mode at Grand Valley East, the A-Class race. And the car I'm going to use for this, you've probably already guessed it, the Mazda RX-7 FD. And also, I'm going to use it in red, because, well, I really don't know what it is with me and essentially RX-7 FD is in red, but to me, I think having a Mazda RX-7 FD in red is probably what I can describe as being, you know, my Mr. Right. But I could be wrong, essentially. At least with my colour choices, but again, it's just my opinion. Okay, so take 2 of this, because god damn it, that Corvette is fast. And I almost thought for sure I was very much going to clinch the win, but then suddenly, down pretty much to straight line speed and acceleration, he got me right at the last fucking minute, and I was literally only a few tenths off of making this one a hat trick. But now it looks like it is going to be time for the trial and error, since officially this is the first time I have actually lost the race in arcade mode, or I have essentially displayed a loss in arcade mode. Fuck you. As already, because I made contact with the Fair Lady Z, and I made contact with the Corvette again. And now it looks like I'm going to have to rely on the AI pushing me to keep me ahead of that Corvette. Because god damn it, that Corvette is fast. It's probably the quickest car out of all of us. And nope, fuck you, I'm not letting you have the lead this time. Going defensive. He's going to get me on the straight. And surprisingly, no he doesn't. But he will do. Because god damn it, that speed is massive. And it's also furthermore to note that essentially with these AI, they tend of course to actually break way before the fucking hairpin even starts. Well, certainly before the player anyway. Because they do not tend to go deep into the corner, and holy shit, he is going to be right up my ass again. Just only hoping this time I can actually fend him off. Oh, okay, he's not there this time. At least I don't think he is. And no, he isn't. Well, it is a victory on attempt number 2, and also, furthermore, FYI, I have also beaten my previous record by about 4 seconds, and eventually the Corvette placed him 4th, after he briefly took the lead at the start of lap 2. So this time we were successful in clinching the win, because surprisingly that time the Corvette was not in contention to officially attempting to pass me down the start-finish straight. But anyways, let's have a look through the grid order. So we were up against a Impreza sedan WRX, obviously a Subaru from 1996, a 92 GTO twin turbo from Mitsubishi, a Toyota Celica GT4, who also, quite surprisingly, was in red, a Nissan Fairlady Z 2-seater turbo, also known as the 300ZX, as I just constantly say that, for the NTSC version, also if you live in America. And also there was this badass, the second and other car I believe that is notably exclusive to the arcade mode, a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette. And there was me in the red FD. So don't need to save another replay because, well, I've already got a replay sample. And so some of you will probably criticise me for not showing you that you can save the game in arcade mode, and that of course is officially what I am doing. So just saving the game, because why the hell not? Also because essentially this is precisely how you can save a game in arcade mode. And as a result of that, we have now unlocked our 7th track of the arcade mode, Special Stage Route 5. So, that was Grand Valley East in arcade mode. Next up is Clubman Stage Route 5. Stay tuned for more GT1.